There's a question in your mind what the Precis words means. The Precis word signifying summary, abstract, central idea and main theme of the given passage. In Precis writing there is a unseen passage before you, and you will have to summarize the unseen passage and come out the main theme of the passage. Precis writing is a part of reading and writing skill, because every communication has 4 types of skill. First one is reading, listening, writing and speaking. Reading and listening, 2 skills are receptive skills. You have to receive the ideas and thoughts of the given passage of the speaker and of the sender. And writing and speaking skills are productive skills. And you have to produce your own ideas and own thoughts in writing and speaking skill, because these skills are productive skills. Precis writing is a part of reading skill and writing skill. Means it is a part of both the skill, receptive and productive. You will have to understand, you will have to receive the main idea and main thoughts of the given passage, then write down in your own words the summary and the central idea and the main theme of the given passage. For this process of Precis writing, you will have to omit some unnecessary or some unimportant points from the passage, but none of the important or necessary points should be avoided in your Precis writing, because every passage which is given before you, it contains a summary or a main theme of the whole passage. You have to find out the main theme of the passage and then write down in your own words. You have not to copy the thoughts or spirit or ideas of the original passage, but you have to translate only the ideas and spirit of the given passage. And it is a type of art. Precis writing is not easy, but it is a type of art, and it needs full concentration and full attention while writing a Precis. And you have to follow some stages and some steps in writing a Precis. These steps are, first one is reading the passage. Means you have to read the passage until you have the central idea or main theme of the given passage. Means you have to read the passage in order to grasp its general meaning, what the writers wants to say in the given passage. You will have to find out the main theme, and you have to read the passage 3 or 4 or 5 times until you have a general idea about the given passage. Second step is finding a suitable heading or title. When you understand the inherent meaning of the given passage, then you have to find out a suitable heading for your Precis, and you have to observe the whole passage and carefully understand the passage and find out the connection between the sentences and the main idea of the given passage. Then sum it up in a suitable heading or title. Title should not be more than 4 or 5 words. It's a very narrow limitation. And third one is rough draft of the passage or second reading. In this step, you have to read the passage again in order to understand or in order to highlight or underline the main points of the passage. It depends on you. It's your choice that whether you adopt the method of underline the main sentence or numbering the main points of the given passage. There is an unseen passage before you and you have to underline and highlight and numbering the main points or essential points or important points in the given passage. Fourth one is selection and arrangement. When you underline or highlight the main points of the given passage, then you select which points are essential for your Precis writing and which points are non-essential for your Precis writings. And you should avoid the unnecessary points like illustration, examples, quotations, stylistic form like figures of speech. You should avoid them or omitted, but none of the important points or none of the important thoughts or ideas should be omitted by you in your Precis writing. Then you arrange the important points or ideas in a very logical and very proper manner. You have to arrange the thoughts and ideas same as in the original passage. You should not give the first thought, the last thought and the last thought in place of one thought. There is a sequence among the important points or important ideas of the given passage. The arrangement should be very logical and it is connected as a whole. It is a well-connected arrangement of the main ideas and main thoughts of the given passage in your Precis writing. And fifth one is first draft of the Precis writing. You should be very careful when you draft first of the Precis writing. You should not add your personal comments, your personal praise or personal blame in the Precis writing. You should not add your personal historical explanation in your Precis writing, because you have only to translate the main ideas and main thoughts and main spirit of the given passage. So you should not add your personal comments in this Precis writing. Sixth one is revision. After drafting first of the Precis writing, you should revise the whole Precis, because you should take into consideration that there is no mistake in grammar, in punctuation, in spelling in your Precis writing. It should be in very simple, clear and very concise language. There is no mistake in your spelling, grammar, and you should not copy the original thoughts of the given passage. You have to translate them in your own words, because each writer has its own personal style and you have your own style too. So you try to translate or to produce your ideas in your own style. Don't copy the style of the original writer of the passage. Seventh, after revising the first draft, you should write the final draft of the Precis writing. If everything is right in all the perspective, then you should write the final draft of the Precis writing, giving it a suitable heading. These are the steps and stages which you have to follow while writing a Precis. Because in steps, Precis writing is similar to comprehension. There is a little bit difference in the steps. Because first step, reading the passage. In comprehension, you read the passage hurriedly, but in Precis writing, you read the passage thoroughly 1 or 2 or 3 times. And you should have the central idea and title in the comprehension also, and you should have the central idea and title in Precis writing also. But there is a difference that in comprehension the question are asked to you, but in Precis writing you only have to give summary with title in your Precis writing. These are the steps of Precis writing. There is a question in your mind, how can you recognize that this is a Precis writing, and what are the characteristics of a Precis writing, or the characteristics of a good Precis writing. The characteristics of a good Precis writing, first one is the Precis writing is the expression of the original passage, means it should be 1/3 of the whole passage. Suppose there is a passage before you 10 or 15 line, you should have to shorten the passage within 5. If there is a passage of 15 line, then your Precis should be in 5 or 6 lines. So it should be the restatement of the original passage. And second one is the principal contents. It should focus on the main points of the original passage, means main points which are underlined by you. These points are taken into consideration, and the principal contents. You should not omit the necessary points, but should omit the unnecessary point. Like figure of speech, I have already explained you, explanation, examples, stylistic device, and quotation, etc. And third one is the Precis should be in your own words, means you should not add your personal comments or personal knowledge in this Precis writing, but you should write down the Precis in your own words, in your own style. You should remain the thoughts, impression of the original writer in the same way, but you should write down this Precis in your own words. It is a self-content and well-connected whole. And fourth one is characteristics of a good handwriting, that it should be a truthful presentation of the original passage, means the sequence of thoughts, the sequence of impression, the sequence of intention of the writer should be remain same, but you can change the style of the passage. But you should not change the main thought or main impression or main intention of the writer. And the sixth one is it should be in past tense and in direct form and in third person form. Means if there is a sentence in direct form, you should convert the direct sentence into indirect form. And if the passage should be in first person or second person, first person means I and we, and second person means you, then you can convert into third person, means he, they, etc. And it should be in the same tense as there is the original passage, means the passage is in the present or future tense, then you should have the remain the same. But it is better that you write the passage, the Precis in past tense. And the language of your Precis should be very simple, indirect, clear, and very readable. And the title. Title, there is a limitation about title. Title should be not more than 5 or 6 words. It should be limited within the 4 or 5 words. Title is like a Precis of the Precis and central idea of the central idea. There is a whole passage before you, and you should have to shorten the given passage, and the title is the short form of the central idea, means it is the main idea of the central idea. It is the Precis of the Precis, and you can say it is the central idea of the central idea. And you have taken into consideration the main points that it should be according to your main theme. The title should not be differ from your main idea or main theme. There is a connection between the heading, title and your central idea or Precis writing. So you should take into consideration the following steps and characteristics of Precis writing. Suppose there is a paragraph 10 or 15 lines, 10 lines suppose, based on Gandhiji's views. So first step, you read the passage 2 or 3 times until you have the central idea of the given passage. Then you find out a suitable heading for this passage or this central idea. When you find out the suitable heading, then you read the passage again or second reading, underline the main points or numbering 1, 2, 3, the main points of the given passage. Then after underlining and highlighting the main points, you selected the main points and avoided the unnecessary points, then arranged in a very logical and proper manner. And after arranging, you rough draft of it and revision of it, and then write it in a final draft of Precis writing. Like Gandhiji's views is title, and then central idea of the, because he demands the equality of men in the society, political equality, social equality. So you have to focus on the main points of the given passage. If there is an explanation or a figure of speech or any difficult quotation, you should avoid them. But you should have the main essence, what the writer wants to say in the given passage. You should remain the main essence and main theme of the given passage. You should not avoid and the sequence of themes should be same in your Precis writing.